The House Coronavirus Stimulus Bill, championed by Congresswoman Maxine Waters and Speaker Nancy Pelosi, is set up to provide monthly direct payments of $2,000 per eligible adult and $1,000 per child. The bill was also planned to give the unbanked access to their funds through a new digital wallet they can open at any financial institution. This bill envisions a digital dollar organized by the Federal Reserve and its member banks. What exactly is a digital dollar? What would this do to the actual dollar? Is this a stepping stone to the end of cash? Are we about to trade our smartphone pay systems for an implanted microchip where we can just wave our hand and pay at the register? We'll explore all these questions and more on this episode of Stranger Truths. Hey, welcome to Stranger Truths. My name's Jeff. With me is Jorge and JB.
Hey.
Say hi, guys.
What's up?
How's it going, guys?
Going.
We're surviving here in Texas, brother.
Yeah, living that old Groundhog Day out here in Germany.
That's right.
Yeah,
it's like
that's,
Groundhog Day every day.
Yeah, dude. My bulldog is starting to look like Punxsutawney Phil.
Hey, there's the UPS guy again. Hey, there's the mail guy again. It's like clockwork, man. I can honestly tell you, I don't know what day of the week
I can
it
only
is.
tell by what day I have to go to work.
Damn.
That's really it.
You're so essential, Jeff.
I know, man. They gave me a little special piece of paper
he
the
is
other day
essential,
that I have to keep in my car in case I get pulled over. It's amazing.
Shut up. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, my wife's got one for her work too. Yeah, they gave her one for her work too. Although
Yeah,
she's
it's
working from home, but
and what makes it even better is it's just a Word document. It's just something that somebody typed up. There's no official stamp on it. No, it's not like a company letterhead or anything like that. It's just, hey, this guy's essential. He works here.
Wait, is there even a signature on it?
No, there's not even a signature. It's just like, hey.
Ah, dang, dude.
Apparently, my dad's got one too, and it's pretty much the same way. Like, I guess they must have just sent out a Word document around, and everybody just typed and placed their names in there and all that crap, and like whatever company it was.
yeah, pretty much.
Oh, man.
So, speaking of the COVID, the coronavirus, the old Kung flu.
Oh,
How
you
about
mean that old China virus?
Yeah, how about your boy Mobley or Modley or whatever the hell his name is?
Oh, yeah,
Oh, going on the Roosevelt and calling the captain stupid in front of all the crew. I'm like, you freaking moron.
And then resigning the very next day or like 2 days later.
It wasn't even a 48-hour period between all this going down and him going on there saying that speech, and it's kind of funny that speech got recorded. What the hell do you think, dumbass?
Yeah, in front of 2,000 sailors, you think there's not a phone on you? You know what I mean? Come on.
Yeah, you're doing it over the 1MC. You're doing it over the announcement system. I mean, what do you think's going to happen? Somebody's going to record it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then he got pressure from the Armed Services Committee to push back saying, hey, you need to, hey, buddy, how about you apologize? And he apologizes and quits. I love it.
Yeah. And then to top it off, the captain actually does test positive for COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dropping
Brave
like
man.
dominoes, dude.
I feel for that guy. I mean, we've all been there I can see how this went down. It's more than likely it's a chain of command issue from above him. I guarantee that he asked for help and they're all like, "Meh, we're all right."
Yeah, no, totally, dude. I just came from a carrier. This dude he brought it up to the strike group commander. There's no way that after so many years and all his experience, he's just gonna light off an email like that to everybody, including the media. Nah, this dude had been asking for help.
Yeah, I was reading something about that the other day. That and of course, you probably can attest to this, but the strike group commander's right next door, right? To his stateroom, maybe.
No, not
in
necessarily.
the same vicinity.
Oh yeah. He's walking distance from his stateroom or his office. It just depends. But
there's something iffy about that. How he didn't communicate.
Yeah.
Somebody was telling him that. Somebody's telling something's up with that. So it's kind of we won't know the whole story. Or you might know the whole story. Right? You can
I actually don't. I'm trying but I mean I can kind of assume a lot of it. I mean, these dudes they're out to sea. They have daily briefs with the strike group commander. I'm sure that COVID was probably the first, PowerPoint that came up, and they were like, "Oh, this is how many sailors that we have on board right now that we suspect have coronavirus." This didn't start with his email. It ended with his email, but this has been going on for quite a while.
And we'll probably never find out because they got both their scapegoats now. You got the captain and the SecNav.
Yeah.
They've both been fired. We'll probably never find out now. It's going to fall out of the news cycle. Nothing will come of it.
Probably not. I mean, what's leading the news stories right now? I mean, it's all COVID, but this is how many people have got it. This is how many people have died. How much longer till this lockdown is over? But,
indefinitely.
Yeah. God, no. Yeah, I don't think we'll get the truth in what happened here, unless there's an IG about it, and then IG down the line releases somebody asks for a FOIA request and asks for the investigation. Of course, it'll be redacted as hell, but.
So yeah, unless something comes out with an IG inspection or anything like that, we'll never know what's going on.
Hey, but how the hell did they get on the ship? The COVID-19. That's my.
They pulled into Vietnam.
Oh, okay.
Is that what it was? All right, I didn't.
Yeah.
I had no idea either. Yeah.
They had a scheduled port visit into Vietnam, and at the time that they pulled into Vietnam, they apparently only had 17 cases of COVID in the country. And apparently it was all up in the northern part of Vietnam. So the Viet Cong came down apparently and infected our people.
Yeah. Well, so the problem with the numbers that have been reported, especially out of third world countries like that, is they were reporting goose eggs, right? But the problem was they didn't have they couldn't test people. They didn't have the tests to do it. So There's all these countries that it's running rampant all over, but they're like, nah, well, we don't have any positives. What they forgot to say is, well, we also don't have the tests. So
yeah,
we saw that all over Europe, dude.
They pulled in, and then and there's a lot of pushback against him pulling a ship in. Look,
well, I'm sure they would be, man.
They're gonna pull in. That's coming down from Fourth Fleet. They're not. Or not Fourth Fleet. Was it Third Fleet?
That's Seventh Fleet out there.
Seventh Fleet. Yeah.
Damn,
so
dude,
that's
you
coming
haven't
down.
been out that long.
Look, hey, it's been long enough. So yeah, that's coming down from Seventh Fleet. That hey, you're gonna pull into there.
Especially Nam, because as far as I know, that's only the second carrier that's pulled in there in 20-something years. Because the Carl Vinson was the first one. Did it a few years back. I was on that, and it was a huge deal, dude.
Yeah,
I could imagine. Yeah. Well, I heard speaking of COVID, I heard a nice news story today. That Kentucky is planning on using ankle monitors.
Oh, damn.
No. Ankle monitors for people
ankle
that
monitors on who?
On people who test positive to make sure that they're complying with the stay-at-home order.
Here we go. Big government, man. Police state coming. And people, no, that's another thing. Not to get off subject, but, I mean, a lot of people don't see this. That this is actually a police state in action. And people don't see that.
Oh yeah. This is like we're really close to socialism right now.
I mean, people are getting arrested for going surfing out in the middle of San Diego Bay or whatever it was, out there on a wakeboard, paddleboard by himself, gets arrested because he's out there. Like, nobody's around him.
You'd be happy to know that the beach here, I'm not going to say where, but the beach where I live at is the only beach in Florida that's open, to my knowledge.
I thought they all got shut down out there.
Well, you know where I live at.
Yeah.
It's the only one that I know of that's open. People can come and go as they please, as long as they can get to it.
What?
Yeah.
I don't think we've seen anything police state-ish here in the city of Houston and surrounding areas yet, but eventually something's going to happen. Somebody was asking me the other day. He says, what do you think about all this? And I'm like, well, here in Texas, there's too many people with guns. There's too many veterans. There's too many good old country boys that'll never let anything like that happen if it was to come to that kind of stuff. So I mean, it's all crazy to see people get arrested for stupid shit and for taking your kids out to play volleyball or play. Some guy got arrested for playing t-ball with his daughter.
I read about that out in an empty park.
I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
This is stupid. Anyway.
So what? I mean, so you guys, I'm in Germany, right? The
Guten Tag.
Lower half, yeah. Bitte, guten Tag. The lower half of Germany is it's on lockdown, man, because of the vicinity to Italy, especially where it was really, really concentrated, right? But the difference out here is that the Germans are super rule followers, dude, and they'll police themselves.
There's a Nazi joke in there, but I'm not going to do it.
Believe me, dude, I totally get it. But yeah, out in the U.S. it's different, and I think if they try to impose a lot of the rules that are out here, because I mean, literally, dude, there's schedules for you to go and shop for groceries. You know what I mean? Like, you can't be outside after a certain time, and the police are not on the street because the people are actually following the rules.
Yeah.
I mean, does this go back to the old socialist, Germany? Maybe, I don't know, but I just don't see that happening in the States, man. I just don't see it happening. I think it's going to become a mess when it comes down to if they try to impose a lockdown like we're doing here. I mean, literally, you have to show your ID because they broke it up in, from A to whatever, and then after that, you know what I mean? And you can only shop on certain days according to the first letter of your last name.
Good Lord.
Papers, please. Papers?
Yeah.
Papers?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man. Oh, dude. Yeah. Interesting fact. My neighbor's last name is Schindler. I was like, what?
That's interesting.
Does he have a list?
I don't know, dude, but he is an older gentleman. He's up there too, dude. I'm like, I need to rewatch that movie and see if I.
This whole police state thing we're talking about, that's kind of going to lead into where I'm going to go with this our topic tonight or today or whatever day. I mean, it's tonight right?
It is tonight for me, yeah.
So it's going to kind of lead into where I'm going with this. So you follow my crazy on this and check me it, all right?
No, you're not crazy, man.
Oh, I wait till you get to where I'm going.
Oh man, all right.
So what I wanted to talk about today was the digital dollar, right? So, and I haven't seen any traction on this lately, but just the fact that they put it out there means that they're considering it. And by the way, if you didn't know, Bernie dropped out of the race, so there's a step away from socialism. So thank God for that.
Yeah, I just saw that right before we started this. Yeah.
But so the Democrats a couple of weeks ago, they drafted that bill that would charge the Federal Reserve for creating a digital dollar and digital wallets. so that anyone that was eligible to receive the stimulus check would be able to get it. Because apparently, according to a FDIC report in 2017, that there was 8.4 million households that were unbanked. And what the fuck is unbanked? What does that mean? Who's unbanked? Why would they be unbanked? Who doesn't have a bank? Right? Unbanked is just somebody that doesn't have a bank for their funds.
Crazy, but it's crazy to think that people don't have a bank. I mean,
there's you guys ever heard of a thing called the Rush Card?
No.
So this thing came out like several years ago. And it was actually started by. Have you ever heard of Def Jam Productions? It's a record label, right? Mostly dealing with rap. Russell Simmons started this thing, right? Or helped start it, But it was literally a bank card a debit card that you go and just add cash to, and you don't need a bank account, like Navy cash, like what we would use on ships in the Navy.
Yeah, but where do you add the money to? How do you add the money to it? That's my question. You got to go somewhere to put money on it, right?
Wherever you purchase the card, and then you just keep going back and putting on it. It's like a prepaid phone. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like Walmart's got like those like Green Dot, I think it is. Yeah. I can't remember. I worked there. You think I'd know? But
yeah, you think?
Yeah. Well, I don't think, because I'm pretty sure you have a bank account. So I don't.
Yeah, exactly. So I do. But I mean, yeah, there's that. But I mean, why wouldn't you have a bank account? Most companies nowadays pay you in a direct deposit.
Yeah,
some kind of electronic funds. Yeah, EFT, direct deposit. What out there has things that you don't? I mean, there's barely any cash only payments anymore, other than like strippers.
There's strippers. There's waiters. There's undocumented aliens.
Actually, there's a few auto shop places you go to get your car done. They only take cash too. So
really,
here in Texas, yeah.
Dang.
That's usually the best ones to go to because they do actually good work.
I could see that. Yeah. the little gas station with the 2-port garage off the freaking dusty highway.
Oh, they just don't have the debit machines because a lot of people don't like those debit machines because they get charged every time you put the damn debit card in there.
Yeah,
they get a charged 30%, so they'd rather take cash or a check.
Damn, it's that high?
Yeah.
30%. Damn, I didn't know it was that high, dude. Damn. That's nuts.
So these digital this digital stuff, right? For those unbanked people like the drug dealers and the strippers and the auto mechanics in Texas, the whole plan was to set up a digital wallet for that person, so that and going by social security numbers, of course. And then I'm sure that there's more to it, because knowing the Democrats, they got to be able to cover the undocumented people that are in the country too, because that's their main voting base. But that's for a whole nother story. It's the
damn.
That's another topic.
Well,
yeah, right. I mean, I read a New York Times article the other day about, it was a Miami Herald article the other day talking about this stimulus check that's out now, or that's going to be coming out now, and the pitfalls of it, of college students not being able to get it, which I don't, okay. Because it's supposed to go off of your 2019 or 2018 tax return.
Right.
And if you're paying for student loans, then you're definitely claiming that stuff on your taxes so you can get that money back, or at least whatever the percentage is back. But they're saying that it's not going to cover college students. It's not going to cover people who are retired, people who are receiving VA disability only, people that are undocumented was the other complaint. So, I mean, this is the reason why the Democrats are trying to come up with this plan, is to send out money to people that fall through the cracks, so to speak, so that they'd be able to set up a digital wallet at any Federal Reserve Bank, and then have the funds transferred into the wallet so that they could take the money out, in and out, right?
all for a $1,200 stimulus check.
Well, this plan was set up for $2,000.
Yeah.
With $1,000 per child.
Good Lord, man! And then there's guys like me, no dependents, and the government thinks I make too much money, dude. I've been paying back for years, and I still don't understand why.
Maybe you should have some little ones.
9.
9.
Let me borrow some social security numbers out there, man.
So the way it'd work is they'd be able to go into a bank, say, "Hey, this is me. I'm supposed to get this check, right?" And then they'd be able to walk into the bank, say, "Hey, let me get my digital wallet. Let me get my digital funds, right?" And they'd be able to take your money in and out like that. Well, then they put in a caveat for people without identification would be able to go and just say, "Hey, go to the post office and be like, hey, I'm supposed to get my money, but I can't prove that I'm me. So I want my money though." And they'd set up something for them. Which, how the hell is that?
No,
yeah,
it doesn't, man. That's so sketchy. I don't get it. I don't get it at all.
That's how they're trying to do things now, man. And you're right. It's sketchy, and it makes you go, "What the fuck is wrong with this country now?"
Yeah, I don't get it, man. I mean, and I mean, so and you two know that I'm Mexican, right? So
are you?
Well, I mean, yeah, sucker. What are you talking about? You know that,
sucker.
But I mean, at the same time, I'm American.
American.
I pay taxes. Yeah.
You're Mexican American.
Yes, I am. Right, but all right. So this $2,000, which could be plus depending on how many kids you have, stimulus check to undocumented aliens who already don't pay taxes because they probably get paid in cash. Are they going to tax that money? I mean, I don't get it, dude.
So there's the thing, man. This is practically a tax refund. If you think about it. Yeah, it's a tax. Yeah, well, it is your tax dollars that they're planning on handing out to all kinds of people. Now, does it say anything in their proposal that undocumented people can get it? No, it doesn't, because they can't just go out and say that. But the fact that they put in that caveat that people without identification could go to the postal service and get whatever their digital dollar amount is that's supposedly owed to them, that to me implies that, hey, anybody can go and get it. And that's what it sounds like.
Damn.
So what does a Federal Reserve backed digital wallet mean? And then what the hell is a digital wallet or a digital dollar? So quick and dirty for that is, say you have a bank. You have a bank. We all have a bank. Well, not everybody apparently.
So 8.4 million people don't.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot of fucking people.
That's a big number, dude.
And that was in 2017. So that's 3 years old.
Bigger now, yeah.
So when you deposit money into your bank, you get a ledger that states what's in there, right? Those numbers in your ledger, they're pretty much just debts that your bank owes you. So let's say you have $2,000 in your checking account. The bank owes you $2,000.
Right. Yeah.
So then every time you take that money out, that's them giving you that money back. And the reason the bank owes you that money is because the way banks make money is off of loans.
Right.
Now, with a digital dollar, the way it would be set up is the debt owed to you is by the government. So if you got 2,000 digital dollars in your digital wallet, then the government owes you $2,000. So you're practically bypassing the bank in a way, and it's almost the same as having like $2,000 cash. This seems like a great benefit, right?
I don't know, man. I mean, for who? Not for me.
Well, it's just like having $2,000 cash, right?
It's like walking around with a freaking what do you call those cards that you can just put money on it? You can walk to Walmart, grab a card, like, oh, this is for freaking Netflix. Let me throw some money on it and give it away, like a gift card, rather. This is exactly what it sounds like. It sounds like a gift card.
Yeah, yeah, it kind of does.
That's what the Democrats are trying to do. They're trying to gift people money that don't, that are not. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So they gifted a lot of money, dude. They did with this whole stimulus package where they signed off for people getting the $1,200 stimulus.
Oh yeah,
did you see what else came with that?
Like the Kennedy Center, they gave them how much money? And
millions, bro, millions of dollars. Yeah,
that's what you're.
And there was like 3 or 4 other places or entities that got crazy money off of this stimulus bill. You know what I mean? It's nuts. I mean, I know I could look it up right now. It was nuts, dude.
So this whole digital dollar thing, right? If we continue, if they go down this road, what do you think is going to happen to the actual dollar?
I mean, I don't know, dude. Because there was already a worldwide digital dollar that blew up, Bitcoin. And I'm not sure exactly how that if it affected the dollar.
The dollar's going to lose its value if this ever goes, man. It's not going to have the same value that it has today or has had in the past. It's just going to lose its value. It's not going to be worth anything anymore.
Yeah, it was the strongest currency for the longest.
It's still considered one of the
I think
best.
It's still yes, yeah.
It's strong, but the euro and the pound, it's shorter than that.
Yeah, they're not far behind, or they're not far ahead though.
Not far ahead, but they've been consistently ahead.
Yeah, they've been consistently. But you got to think that like the pound, that's based off of that's based off of silver. So, I mean, it's based off of something real.
But the problem with that is that the pound it's not new, but it is new because Britain just exited the European Union not even a year ago.
Yeah, something like that.
And the pound came back hard.
Yeah, and good for them. I'm happy to see Britain leave the EU.
I think they did the right thing too, but I mean they left a lot of people hanging because they were the strongest financially. They were the strongest. Well, I don't know. They were one of the strongest, I should say.
If you look at a lot of the stuff that has to do with Brexit, a lot of the reason it took so long for them to get out is because they needed to come up with a plan on how to back out financially, because they were kind of like how one of Trump's things when he was coming into office, one of his platforms is making the UN, like not the UN, NATO.
NATO, yeah.
How we supply so much money to NATO. So much money, and all these other nation states don't, or don't even meet the minimum requirement that they're supposed to be putting in. Mm-hmm. That's kind of what was going on with Great Britain in the European Union. They were putting in all this money, and what were they getting out of it? Just a bunch of dumbass laws that were coming out of The Hague. It's
that, and they were bailing countries like Greece and Spain out because of the way they handle their finances, right? Like they're literally socialistic countries when it comes to finances.
Yeah, they are. But to get back on topic and to call back to what you just said, the Bitcoin thing, right?
Yeah.
So Bitcoin blew up, right? The whole digital the whole digital currency blew up.
Yeah, it started a whole new thing. What was it? Bit mining, or I forget what it was called, but yeah, it was nuts, dude.
Yeah, it's a data mining kind of thing. So
yeah.
Like Bitcoin, I think at the most it ever had was like 19,000. It was up to almost $20,000. And yeah, the whole data mine, the Bitcoin, or the what the hell? You got me fucked up now. I'm trying to think what it's called.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was called either, but yeah, I remember the word mining, and it was everywhere. Everybody was talking about it. It was huge. Yeah, Bitcoin blew up, dude, and then it got expensive, right?
Yeah.
Because like an actual Bitcoin like was like several thousands of dollars, and you're like, holy crap.
Yeah, so Bitcoin, like data mine. It's not data mining. What the fuck is it?
Yeah, I forget, but
It's just Bitcoin mining, really. The whole blockchain thing, in and of itself, is interesting. Just reading about it the other day, like how all that stuff works. But that kind of brought it into the forefront, the whole idea of a digital dollar, right? Now, how the government would be able to do something like that, I'm not really sure, because the way the whole Bitcoin data mining stuff goes, the whole blockchain thing goes, is you have all these different computers that are pretty much linked together, all cryptologically linked together, and they're holding these ledgers for the transactions of Bitcoins. So it's not just one computer somewhere off in the distance that has all this information. It's all these other things that are chained together, hence the whole blockchain, and they're keeping the ledger going. Now, how the government would be able to do that, I have no idea, because these are all private to company computers that have that blockchain going.
Yeah. This is not federally.
Yeah, but here's another issue with this digital currency. I guess you'd call it a race or whatever. If you start doing digital currency, then businesses, foreign business or whatever, they can bypass all America's banks, and then what happens then? Washington loses its power. They can't impose sanctions to other countries, this, that, and other. So if this ever is to come about, which it looks like it's going to eventually down the road, but the U.S. will lose power as far as all that kind of stuff, as far as sanction on other countries. It's going to cause a world of shit.
That's something I never even thought of, because it's SWIFT.
Did I?
Right. I mean, because you're right, it's SWIFT. So when the shit hits the fan, what do? We impose sanctions on somebody, which they lose. We shut down all their damn money, and they lose their wad, and they start throwing bombs at us. But I mean, you don't think about. I don't think people think about that. You lose your control, and then let's say for China, if they begin and gain dominance on this thing, then hell, they've already gave us the virus. What else could they do with it? So
well, there's another thing, right? So you want to talk about viruses? It's digital, right? Paper money's paper. The only way you can, it's made specifically a certain way. There are people out there that counterfeit it, but there's nobody that's come close enough that counterfeit piece of paper or coin is completely passable. It will always fail. Now, this is a digital currency. How do we know how many's out there, right? Because we know how many dollars is out there. Well, kind of. We kind of know how many dollars are out there. God knows how many pallets of dollars are in Colombia right now. But
or holes.
Or Iran, but
right.
That's another story.
Yeah.
But this is a digital thing, so it's something that's made up. Yeah, there's encryption, but encryption can be cracked, and all they have to do is figure out what that encryption is and recreate it to make a whole new dollar. Or, hey, this is all digital. Let's just go ahead and delete all of it. Now, where's all the money at?
Exactly.
Or going back to the international transfer stuff, all you need is one digital dollar with a virus implanted in it to be transferred throughout different companies. And then what happens to those companies' infrastructure? Their computer infrastructure is shot.
Yeah.
One ransomware dollar. That's it.
And think about this: untraceable financial transactions. That's a freaking crime, man.
Right. And that's one of the main reasons why people don't like Bitcoin, or mainly governments don't like Bitcoin, is because they can't trace it.
They can't control it.
Right. They can't control it. They can't trace it.
Well, that's why a lot of people went to it.
Yeah.
And And in Bitcoin, I mean, they were literally selling ecstasy on the internet using Bitcoin because there was no way to track it.
2011, Silk Road launched on the dark web, right? Until its supposed founder, the Dread Pirate Roberts, was arrested in 2013. Now, the only way they found this guy was through, it wasn't through the Bitcoin transactions. It was through other internet means. But it wasn't through the transactions of Bitcoin. It was through just them tracing him. So, and that's the same with cash though too. Like how many drug operations are done with cash? All of them, pretty much.
Yeah.
You ain't buying.
A drug dealer ain't gonna take your debit card and run it through his Square Cash.
No, he wants cash.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me pull the Square out real quick.
Yeah. Break out your debit card. This isn't being monitored. Don't worry. Yeah. Oh, hey, and another group of folks that are all cash business, most cash business. And I can't believe I forgot about these people because they're one of my favorite people in the world. Tattoo artists. Well, we did mention those ladies, and they are one of my favorite people in the world. But tattoo artists.
Yeah.
Now some of them did get smart and convert to using like the Square or getting paid digitally because that actually helps them when they do their refund. But like the tips and stuff, most of those are always cash. I always paid my artists with cash just because I'm just used to it.
Right.
Do you think Americans are no, go ahead, JB, sorry.
No, I was just going to forehead as far as just most of those tattoo artists and stuff like that. It's cash. I wouldn't say cash only. It's easier for them. I mean, are they doing stuff illegal with that cash? Who knows? I doubt it, but I mean, most of those guys are cash only.
Yeah, I would venture to say no because even if they own the shop, they still got to pay for a lot of stuff. And if you're renting the chair from a shop guy, one, you're putting his shop in danger if you are doing dumb shit, and you're actually paying for that chair. I mean, word gets around really quick in a town about an artist that's like blackballed. So
yeah,
I mean, most of these guys, this is their livelihood. I mean, well, everybody that we mentioned, but these guys take it serious.
So do you think that Americans would be ready for a digital dollar?
I don't think so. There's different things that we take for granted on a day-to-day basis, like your mortgage. If your mortgage gets hacked, who are you going to call?
The bank.
Call the government? Right now you call the bank. So what's to say if it's a digital dollar from the government? Who are you going to call? We all know about dealing with the government. We know how long it takes to get on the phone with the government.
You know how long it took me to get my.
You're in the queue. You're our number 55,000 in the queue.
Your call will be answered in 2025.
Pretty much, yeah.
And we're not talking about the time.
Well, how about this? Let me rephrase the question.
All right.
Do you think people are conditioned to it?
No.
No?
Nah, I don't think so, man.
I think they are. And I'll tell you.
Are you talking about people that go and use their debit card all the time? Because that's definitely me.
That's conditioned to it, but...
Yeah, and I just do it for the convenience. Because, because I'll end up with a jar full of quarters and dimes and who knows what that I don't know what to do with because I'm like, well, I'm not going to roll these things up. You know what I mean? So,
what are you gonna do? You go throw them at Peruvian children in the street?
I think he's done that before.
I mean, I think that actually has happened with all three of us there. So
probably so.
Yeah.
Once or twice, maybe.
Oh my god!
I might edit that out.
Nah, leave it in there.
Nah, leave that one in,
man.
Leave it in
there.
But okay, so yeah, the debit card, man. Once that thing got on in the scene, Swipe away. Credit cards, even.
Yeah.
I mean, and then you think about it, like with Apple Pay. When Apple Pay came around, man,
Oh yeah,
I was all in on that.
Yeah.
I was using that like crazy, like especially with my little smartwatch. I'd put my little Apple Watch up. Boom, there it is.
Look at you.
I'd go right to a vending machine. I need me a Diet Mountain Dew. Boom. Diet Mountain Dew. Didn't need to worry about having cash on me. Nothing.
I
Boom,
use it all the
was.
time, dude. If I see on there that it accepts Apple Pay, I'm like, whoops, bing. But again, I do it for the convenience, and I do it for the fact that I hate carrying change, dude. Like,
Okay,
if the Federal Reserve just went to like making everything to the dollar, that would be so much easier, dude. Like, do we really even need pennies nowadays? What is a penny gonna buy you?
Stocks.
They don't even have penny candy anymore. Hell.
No, they don't even have penny casino, betting
Slot
chairs
machines.
anymore.
Oh, they got penny slots there. They got penny slots in Vegas. It's like 5 pennies to a year. Yeah, it says a penny on it, but you have
It'll
it's
take
like
a penny, but it will
They'll take a
on
penny.
it for a bet. You probably gotta put 25 pennies
That's
in
the
there.
first thing I said. These damn penny slots are ripping me off, man. It's not a freaking penny slot.
Goddamn inflation.
Yeah, they don't even.
like
Do they even have penny
25
stocks
cents.
anymore? Remember Wolf of Wall Street? He started off with penny stocks, and then he grew from there. I don't even think they have those anymore.
They kind of do. There's some out there that they're not necessarily a penny, but there's some out there you can find for cents on the dollar. Yeah.
Man, dude. Well, see, maybe we can round those up to a quarter, and then I'll be cool with that.
So you're talking about convenience, right?
Yeah.
Now let me throw this at you. Now, and you're gonna see where I'm leading you to. I'm just gonna lead all the way back to to Kentucky with the ankle bracelets.
Oh man.
In 2015, there's a Swedish company called Epicenter that enticed workers to get an RFID chip implanted in their hands. Okay. So this RFID chip, they could use it. It's just put into the back of their hand. They could use it to open up security doors, use copiers, even pay for their lunch at the cantina that they had there, right? Now, 2018, thousands more Swedes are getting these microchips implanted in their hands to do anything from access their office to store social media profiles and emergency contacts and pay for public transportation.
Yeah, screw that.
No bueno.
Yeah, no.
That's for you, Jorge. That's for you, Jorge. No bueno.
No, hell no, dude. What Jeff forgot to mention is this is also a tracking device. I mean, you know what I mean?
That's where I'm going.
I think that's where he's leading to.
That's where I'm heading to. It's now.
It's a total tracking device.
These aren't specifically tracking devices.
Oh,
supposedly, I'm sure.
Yeah,
that
it's not that hard.
When they're all right, how about let me go back.
Yeah.
They're not reported as tracking devices.
No, of course not.
But I can guarantee you the fact that it's a radio frequency ID that you can track it.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
totally. It's not that hard.
No.
They're tracking it right now.
Yep.
So they already have this technology that they're using to pay for stuff with in Sweden. Now, let's add in a digital wallet to that. You can get your digital dollar put on your hand.
Suckers.
And you can go and pay for whatever you want, wherever you want, with your digital dollar on your hand. How many people do you think will buy into that?
This guy.
Not this boy.
Yeah,
I'm not either, but
Yeah.
you're already conditioned to it. You're
Now, the
already
problem-
putting your wrist up for that
the
Apple
problem-
Watch
right,
or that
but
Samsung Watch.
Us three are saying no to this, and the majority of our generations are going to say no to this, and the guys older than us. But these millennials will be the ones. Oh, that's going to be so simple. I can just use my wrist to get into a building, and they're going to be the ones that say, "Oh, that's easy." And that's the issue we're going to face is trying to preach to the millennials, like I'm always preaching to my kids about socialism and crap like that. But I mean, that's going to be the issue: is the millennials where the Democrats know now that's where they're going. They're going to the millennials. The illegals will buy into that too, I think, because it's going to be ease.
Well, I guess we're just gonna have to let them learn the hard way, dude. I mean,
think about it. All of your information that you need in a daily life implanted in you.
No, sir. Not going to happen.
How easy is that to sell to people?
Well, it'd be easy.
I don't know. I mean, so this whole thing that you just said, Jeff, reminds me of a movie called In Time. I don't know if you guys have watched this.
Yep. Well, JT.
Yeah, remember that? Yeah. Where literally they're paying for things with the remainder of the time
I think they call
their lifespan.
I think they call it units or something like that, or something, right?
Something like that, but like let's mass release this movie.
JT's best actor performance ever.
I ain't gonna go that far, but the actual, like, the underlying fact of the matter is, like, you know, it can get that bad.
So here's the thing with that, right? There's a bunch of states that have legislation in place where you cannot be forced to get something like this. However, Washington State in 2009 put out a bill to order a study for using implanted RFID or some type of similar technology to electronically monitor sex offenders and other felons. So, and that was in 2009. So they're thinking about this kind of stuff. And yeah, do we want to track sex offenders and felons? I could see sex offenders, definitely.
Yeah. I wouldn't go as far as felons, though.
Felons, I mean, Martha Stewart's a felon. Do we need to track her? You know,
Jorge's a felon. Yeah. I'm a felon. You're a felon. We're all felons.
That's actually true. Damn.
So I want to introduce you to another group that's all on board for this stuff.
Oh, Lord.
It's called ID 2020. You go to their website, you can see they have a cool little video and all kinds of stuff about what they're all about. But they're founded by the group's founded by Accenture, which we haven't talked about yet, but I'll go and give them a little quick overview too. So digital dollar wise, Accenture is one of the companies that is in the process of lobbying the government to create the digital dollar.
Yeah, of course they are.
Yeah.
I mean, this helps them.
So this group is founded by Accenture, Microsoft, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the Rockefeller Foundation, and IDEO, and Gavi. Well, Gavi's part. So Gavi's part of the vaccine alliance started by Bill and Melinda Gates. So their mission is to be in partnership with the UN High Commissioner for Refugees, is to form an ethical approaches for digital identity. So what does that mean?
They're pushing to take over. Well, not pushing to take over, but they're pushing this kind of stuff to socialism. This is socialism right here. That's all it is.
Totally, dude.
And that's what they're
It's
pushing.
digital.
They're pushing us. It's digital
Digital
socialism. It's
social.
still socialism. Whether it's digital or not, it's still freaking socialism. And that's what they're pushing. They're pushing socialism. They want to be able to control everybody. It's not going to happen,
Right.
man. But I mean,
that's my thought on it.
I didn't know this site existed. Now that you got me on, I'm gonna have to take a peek at this. And
Yeah, I'm on their page. This is how they're selling it, right? So our solution is personal, private, and portable, empowering individuals to access and share appropriate information when convenient and without the worry of using or losing paper documentation to solve problems faced by people who lack official identity space. Accenture leverages its unique identity service platform to deploy a breakthrough biometric system that can manage fingerprints, iris scans, and other data. Golly, dude.
Yep.
At some point, they're going to be able to tell, what kind of poop, how much it weighs, dude. I mean, shit.
Did I ever tell you the name I ever came up for a band if I ever created a band?
What is it? Dude?
The name of the band would be 3 Pound Duke. I don't know. You just made me think about it when you're saying.
So what stopped your dreams?
Yeah, what's up to dreams?
I can't play guitar, so it's whatever.
You can't sing either,
dude.
So this ID 2020, right? They're trying to get people that don't have identification or don't have the ability to carry identification around, and they're kind of marketing it towards refugees or underdeveloped countries. But their plan is, by what Jorge just said, is to get some kind of identification, some kind of digital identification for these people. And why not? Hey, if it works here in Sierra Leone or in Afghanistan or, where people are leaving from Libya or in Syria, why won't it work for everybody? Let's go ahead and do this. And
you're actually right about what you said, because I'm sorry, dude. I just kept reading. I'm listening to what you said, but so another part where under their join us, section says our experts at Dublin Innovation Center contribute cross-functional and cross-cultural expertise to drive it forward in collaboration with both UN and other global humanitarian organizations. Yeah, this is totally what you just said. This is not meant for the American public, dude, or any first world country. I mean,
it's not meant for anyone, I think.
Nope.
You're right.
This would bring a whole new ball of wax to the phrase of
Big Brother.
No, that and election fraud, where people are trying to break into your election. I mean, you think about this. If this was to happen, what's to say you put somebody's digital wallet in, it gets hacked too, they're voting for a United States election. I mean, they live in Africa. Could happen.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the main thing I'm worried about. Like, all right, cool.
Hackers would love this shit.
There's plenty of identification fraud now to begin with.
Yeah.
Right.
Hackers, this would make it so much easier.
But this it'd be so much easier. Yeah, sure, we're going to encrypt everything. The Nazis thought they encrypted shit great until we broke all their codes,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, sure, they did.
This would be a hacker's paradise right here.
It's
Well, it's just human nature, dude. I mean, it's almost like a challenge. Something is created to make it harder for you to do something, whatever. Steal money, steal identities. Somebody is going to be up for the challenge. They will find a way. This is just human nature.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think this is just going to make it so much easier, man. Yeah, I don't like it.
Good. I'm glad you don't like it, because that's how I feel.
Yeah. Hey, just move y'all just move to Texas, man. We'll all just form a big ass, revolution here in Texas, and we'll just kick everybody's asses.
I say we just let's buy a huge plot of land somewhere in a remote area of Texas, build our own houses on it, and live on it. No, that kind of sounds like a cult.
See, I got plenty ammo. I got plenty ammo in the garage. We're good to go. So just come on.
Isn't Austin in Texas?
What's that?
Who?
Isn't Austin in Texas?
Yeah, Austin.
Yeah, I love Austin, dude. I love Austin.
Isn't that like San Francisco light?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Houston's
You're right,
Houston's turning that way, but up here where I live in Magnolia, which is up north of the Woodlands, it's it's a little bit laid back up here. So
you got people shitting on the streets there?
Nope. If they do, I'll shoot them.
Did you know that there's a map? I can't remember what you got to look up, but you could probably just Google it. San Francisco poop map, and there's a map that shows you.
It shows people pooping on the streets. Yeah, that's just freaking sick, dude.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, right?
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh God.
Man, this is well. I mean, the best way to close it out is, this would be a hacker's paradise. And
I think so too, man. It would be a huge mistake.
If people go to the ID 2020 and start reading this stuff, they're gonna be like, "Hey, what the fuck is about to happen? What are they trying to do? And to me, it wouldn't happen. I wouldn't let it happen. But I think the biggest issue we face is the millennials and the younger generation who have grew up with all this technology, with now it's TikTok, Instagram, all that stuff, where everything, everybody,
in the palm of their hands, all the
fake news, fake publicity, whatever you want to call it, has been fed to them. That's what they believe.
Well, there's a part I forgot to mention here. Gavi, the whole vaccine alliance that Bill and Melinda Gates own or founded. I wouldn't say own. They founded it. They pay money into it. That seems a little weird to be part of this ID 2020, right? What has vaccines got to do with identification?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, totally nothing.
And if you notice lately with this whole pandemic that's going on, Bill Gates has been out in the forefront a lot more in the news.
Yep.
He's been talking a lot, and allegedly he's been saying, "Hey, we should probably track these people that are infected." Allegedly.
Yeah. I haven't seen that, so I don't know.
I'll hunt it down. I gotta find it. There was a YouTube video that I saw about it. It was him talking. It wasn't like some crazy conspiracy theorist like me. Like, hey, guess what he's trying to do? But I mean, this, like, if you Charlie Batch this up, I am definitely. Oh, don't.
I don't want to get off on a tangent, but since this coronavirus has happened, and me being prior Navy, retired Navy, and dealing with electronic warfare, biological, anything we do in the Navy, we deal with that stuff.
Yeah.
I've said from day one, this is China's attempt at biological warfare, and it worked. That's what I think. Not to get on a conspiracy theory, but that's what I think.
I'm leaning more towards the leak from their level 4 lab than somebody eating it.
I personally think this is what's happened. They leaked it to see how fast it would go and how fast it would spread, and to see how quick it would get to where it got to go, and to see how much power they would have over the world if it happened. And
yeah, I wish you were available when me and Jorge were talking about that the last time.
I apologize.
Yeah, no worries.
It's cool.
But that's just from just being
that was arrested.
Right. Well, from just being in the military and having the clearance that I had back then, and reading stuff in the news and knowing different countries' ways of doing things, from military, whatever. That's just what I think's happened, and it worked.
I'm on a new theory now.
Oh,
totally different. Totally different. Now, you guys are going to be like, are you fucking serious? But here's bear with me.
Bearing with you, let's go.
Because it's true. Well, I don't know about true, but there's data to back it up. There's a theory out there, and I got to find the guy's name. When I find it, I'll probably put it in the show notes too. But there's a guy out there who's talking about how every major pandemic in the past few generations has been from the introduction of RF frequency. Now, okay, this is kind of the 5G theory, but a little modified. Because there's a lot of people out there who's like, oh, 5G caused it. Everybody's getting sick because of 5G. And that's not it. If you look back to radio waves, when we started actually producing radio waves, was around World War I time frame, right? We'll say 1917, 1918. What happened during that time? The Spanish flu.
Yep.
There was also during World War II, with the invention of radar, there was also another sickness that started going around right after that. The same with when we started using satellites, pinging shit back and forth in the 60s, more RF frequencies.
I see where you're headed, man. And it could be. Yeah, it's another theory to think about.
I'm gonna have to read more about that.
Okay.
You caught me like right out of left field with that one, dude.
And then you get Wi-Fi comes in, and then 3G, 4G. There's a pattern, right? Now you can also go to a different pattern that I actually believe more than this. This one's interesting, right? Or the last one I just talked about is interesting. This one's a lot more interesting, and I could actually believe this one. It has to do with solar minimums. Right now we're in a solar minimum, okay?
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, somebody's actually talked to me about this before.
Right. So we're in
it makes sense.
We're in a solar minimum, and there's actual like historical data that backs this as well. Whenever there's a solar minimum, our is it the ionosphere? Yeah, the ionosphere, because there's not as much solar radiation coming from the sun. Our ionosphere actually weakens because it's not having to bounce all that solar radiation back. So now you have all this cosmic radiation that's coming in, which causes things to mutate. Hence, this mutated gene, the COVID-19, is coming around.
Yeah, because it's a flu, just a new strain, stronger, stranger strain.
Right. And I was actually, I heard about this on Mysterious Universe, a couple Australian guys that do a show. I love them guys, man. They're awesome. But I heard that from them. They just put out an episode about it yesterday, Monday. I haven't had a chance to listen to the whole thing though, but I've heard the theory before, and I can kind of see it. So
yeah. Hey, there's another podcast that I really fucking dig, man, because those dudes that are on it are fucking cool. It's called Stranger Truths.
Oh, no, right?
Yeah,
they're pretty awesome. And a shout out, by the way, to my boy Stu that did our logo.
Oh yeah, I like it. It looks good, man.
Yeah, you can find him at Stu Tattoo, or
one of my favorite people.
True to You Tattoos, which is where he works at when it's actually open. So
yeah, when it opens.
Yeah, exactly, when it opens up.
Yeah.
So we're pretty much in a consensus that this thing is a bad idea.
Yep, all the way down, back and forth, up and around.
All right. Well, I'm gonna put a bunch of the articles that I got some of this stuff from, and an ID20's website, and a bunch of other things in the show notes.
Yeah, put that on there, dude, because that's dangerous. That idea is dangerous.
Yeah, and then next week I want to talk about Venezuela.
Okay, I like it.
And this is just my theory, but I think we're going to be going to war with them soon.
I like it. Let's talk about it.
All right.
Yeah, I'm down.
All right, so that was the second episode of Stranger Truths. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want to follow us, just check out our Facebook page. That's facebook.com/strangertruths. Also, our website is strangertruths.com, and we're also up on YouTube, Apple Podcast, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcast. Just search us out there and subscribe. Thanks again for listening, and here's Thor playing us out with Gates of Odin.